I don't know about you, but to me, Dillian Whyte sounds like a loser going into this Itauma fight. I'm not saying he is a loser, but he just seems resigned. He's very self-deprecating and basically presents himself as cannon fodder for the young prospect. I don't think I heard him mention even once that or how he's going to win this fight. And just because a fighter says he's gonna win doesn't mean that that's his intention. I get that, but Dillian Whyte seems more content talking about all the hardships he's been through in recent years and his family and his kids, and it just sounds like he's trying to secure a financial future for him and his own. Now, some people are saying that this is all mind games, but wouldn't that be completely out of character for Dillian? And I'm just not buying it. I get the impression he's just gonna show up for the paycheck. And once again, I'm hearing a lot of these pundits positing how he's coming to win this fight, which implies he has other options. And yet, somehow this obvious implication or the fact that Dillian does have other options here, like just showing up for the paycheck, seems so incredible to a lot of boxing fans who so ignorantly claim that no fighter could ever do that, just show up for the paycheck. Because if they win, they get all these other opportunities. So much more money, right? Oh yeah? Like the very loyal Joe Parker who beat Wilder, Zhang, was ready to beat Dubois but settled for Bacoli. Where's his opportunity? After he put in all that work coming to win, became Usyk's mandatory, now Turkey says he's not interested in the Usyk-Parker fight. Or Dillian Whyte himself, who was twice supposed to rematch AJ, but twice got derailed by positive PED tests that, guess what, were later deemed to be due to no fault of his own. He was cleared, so he came to win. He did win. He didn't do anything wrong, they tell us, and yet he didn't get the fight he was promised. And those are the trials and tribulations, the stuff he's been going through that he keeps talking about. I think, call me crazy, but at this point of his career, just like Jarrell Miller, he knows his place. So this idea that all that a fighter has to do is show up, try to win, and win the fight, and then he'll be rewarded for it because boxing is so fair all the time, is absolutely ignorant. It's based on a false premise. Boxing ain't fair. So you got Dillian Whyte talking about how had he performed well in his last 2 or 3 fights or so, he would have never gotten the Moses Itauma fight. He believes he got this fight because he is perceived as not a threat. Or am I to believe that Itauma's handlers will put this guy, a guy who's never had a test in his entire career, is an absolute novice who can't box? I'm supposed to believe his handlers are gonna put him in a dangerous fight when their stated goal is to cash him out or roll the dice against an aged Usyk. But yeah, it could be a miscalculation on their part, and Dillian Whyte was just playing possum all this time, and he's gonna really show up and try to win this fight, and yeah, okay. But hopefully I'm wrong and Whyte does show up and tries to win the fight. I'd like to see Itauma tested, but something tells me we're gonna get the Dillian Whyte from the Tyson Fury fight. And if you want to say that was a type of rehearsal for some of his abilities, then yeah, I'm with you there. And the Dillian Whyte from the Tyson Fury fight is the type of Dillian that walks into range without jabbing, without throwing any punches, and just gets punched. Or are you going to tell me Tyson Fury displayed some kind of great technical brilliance in that fight because some douchebag in YouTube made a film study? Okay. It doesn't take a technical genius to knock out a guy who's walking in straight through the front door without much of a guard and definitely not throwing any punches on the way in and just throwing some half-hearted body punches when he's in range and hardly anything to the head. Not anything meaningful anyway. Dillian Whyte looked like a jobber in that fight and he looked unmotivated ever since, and now that he's getting a cool couple of million, I expect to see the same Dillian. So he managed to whip himself into half-decent shape, to keep up appearances, to sell the fight, Tons of people lose lots more weight than Dillian Whyte and nobody's paying them. This guy's supposed to be a professional athlete, so sometimes he also looks like one. It's incredible how people these days reward and praise mediocrity. It's kinda sad, really. Both of them look a little bit pathetic, especially if you juxtapose them with, let's say any two rando top 10 heavyweights from the 90s or even the 2000s. I don't think either one of these two could go 12 hard rounds. Let's keep it real. We really need to get PED testing out of boxing. It's ruining the sport. But I do admit that when I first saw Dillian Whyte whip himself into some kind of shape, got my hopes up a little bit. But then I was reminded of this effing guy, Buddy McGirt. Look, nothing against the man personally. I don't know him. I just know a whole bunch about him. He seems like a cool, chill guy most of the time. But then some of the things that he says about his fighters just don't sit right with me. He openly states that he's not interested in their fighters' physical preparation. And he doesn't study the tape of their opponents. For what, he says? He says he doesn't even watch boxing. And he's often deprecating modern boxers and reminiscing about the good old days when they fought 15 rounds and stuff. Well, if he's not there to prepare his fighter physically, and he's not there to devise any kind of a game plan for any specific opponent, what is he there for? But I don't really have anything against him personally. He's probably just at the wrong place at the wrong time a lot. And, he's just bad juju or something. At the same time, I can't just ignore the fact that Sammy the Bull Gravano claimed that Buddy McGirt was owned by the mob. I can't just ignore his personal connection to John Gotti or the long-rumored connection of Lou Duva to the East Coast mob. Lou Duva, who promoted some of the fighters that Buddy McGirt trained. Or the fact that two of his former fighters were murdered in some shady circumstances a couple of weeks apart a few years ago. And then there's that whole Max Dadashev thing. The fact that he served up Sergey Kovalyev to Canelo. The guy's just at the wrong place at the wrong time a lot, and he's just bad juju, man. And if I was Sergey, I'd watch my back, man. I'm just saying. So even though I'm looking forward to the undercard and some of the fights on it, I just can't get up for this main event so much as I try. I'm not falling for the hype. I'm not falling for the marketing, the catfishing, the photoshopped six packs. I think at some point Dillian Whyte's just gonna walk straight in without much of a plan. He's gonna get cracked. Itauma's gonna get ranked. Caballero and Parker are gonna get ghosted, and he's gonna leapfrog all of them into the big one. Why? Well, probably because Turkey seems to have a fetish for a certain type of guy. Thanks for watching. Support the channel. Enjoy the fights.